Hi there, my name is Danny Tamburino and I'm the president and co-founder of Optimum Accessory Dwelling Units. It's great to be with you here today and thanks for joining us. Today, we will be continuing our series on the secondary suite design guide for the City of Edmonton, and we will be talking about the importance of asbestos management. We will give you an overview of asbestos awareness and what asbestos really is. We will also give you a brief history on how it came to be used in the construction industry. In addition to this, we will be talking about asbestos removal and the health risks associated with exposure to asbestos-containing materials and how to manage that risk. But before we dive into today's discussion, I would like to share an inspirational quote with you about health. The quote is from Zig Ziglar and it goes like this: "The man who earns $1 million but destroys his health in the process is not really a success." I think that this is very pertinent to our discussion for today because we are talking about something that can seriously affect your health: asbestos and what can happen if you are exposed to it. We here at Optimum Accessory Dwelling Units are all about helping people create positive cash flow through secondary suite development. We not only specialize in building accessory dwelling units, we have developed a proven system on how to properly design, build, and budget ADUs for optimum investment potential. That being said, we do not promote doing this at the expense of one's health or quality of life. There's no point in having an accessory dwelling unit that pays you a residual monthly income if you're not going to be around to enjoy it. That's why we are excited to talk to you today about asbestos management in regards to the secondary suite design guide for the City of Edmonton. On page 12 of the secondary suite design guide for the City of Edmonton, under the heading Asbestos Management, it states that anyone proposing to alter a building shall provide plans and specifications describing any necessary asbestos management and abatement work to Alberta Occupational Health and Safety. In other words, it is the responsibility of the homeowner and/or the contractor to determine whether the home or building you are going to be developing contains materials that have asbestos in them. Before you can actually provide any plans or specifications for asbestos management or abatement, you must determine if the home or building you are going to be developing contains materials that have asbestos in them. It is not possible to do this with the naked eye. However, you can hire a third-party asbestos professional to test the building materials for you. Before we go any further into our discussion, let's define what asbestos actually is. Asbestos is the name for a group of 6 naturally occurring silicate minerals. It is not a man-made product. Just like many other ores, asbestos is mined and then refined and used to make many products. Asbestos is generally made up of fiber bundles which easily separate into long, thin fibers. These fibers are strong, durable, and resistant to heat, electricity, corrosion, and even fire. These qualities make the mineral highly useful. The fibers are also long, thin, and flexible, so they can be woven into cloth or added to paper, cement, plastic, and other materials to make them stronger. Asbestos was used in many homes built before the 1980s because it is found in the building materials. Building materials such as roofing and flooring products, fireproofing materials, reinforcing cement pipes and electrical insulation, thermal insulation for homes and offices, drywall and drywall compounds, as well as their air duct coverings and cementitious materials like stucco. Why is asbestos in the home dangerous? Asbestos materials in the home may become worn or damaged over time. Disturbing these materials can cause microscopic asbestos fibers to become airborne. People may unknowingly release asbestos fibers during home maintenance or renovation projects. Anyone in the home is then at risk of inhaling and/or ingesting the fibers, and as a result, any exposure to these home construction materials may cause asbestos-related diseases. This is why the City of Edmonton requires you to provide plans and specifications describing any necessary asbestos management and abatement work to occupational health and safety. It is a serious question of health. No amount of asbestos exposure is safe, but asbestos generally has the worst effects when a person is exposed to an intense concentration of it, or they are exposed on a regular basis over a long period of time. Asbestos accumulates in the body with every exposure, and there is no known way to reverse the damage it causes. Fibers are easily inhaled once they become airborne. It is important to avoid disturbing products that may contain asbestos. The majority of patients with asbestos-related diseases are men in their 60s or older. This is because asbestos-related diseases have a long latency period, often taking decades to develop. They usually trace back to occupational exposure at workplaces historically staffed by men. When asbestos dust is inhaled or ingested, the fibers can become permanently trapped in the body. Over decades, trapped asbestos fibers can cause inflammation, scarring, and eventually genetic damage. Exposure to asbestos can cause cancer and other health conditions. A rare and aggressive cancer called mesothelioma is almost exclusively caused by asbestos exposure. Asbestos also causes a progressive lung disease called asbestosis. The carcinogenic qualities of the mineral are what makes asbestos dangerous. How do we manage this situation? We at Optimum ADU recommend that hiring an asbestos abatement company and not doing it yourself is the wisest and safest decision when it comes to removing asbestos from any residential, commercial, or public building. Asbestos abatement companies will properly test for the toxic mineral, follow strict regulations and processes, and carry the right abatement removal equipment to keep them, others, and you safe from exposure. Some jurisdictions, however, allow homeowners to remove asbestos materials on their own. If you are considering doing it yourself, asbestos abatement, we at Optimum ADU want to remember the following. If you are considering doing asbestos abatement yourself, we at Optimum ADU want you to remember the following precautions because we care about you and your health. First of all, seal off the work area with plastic sheets and turn off the air conditioning. Wear a respirator with a high-efficiency particulate air filter, also known as a HEPA filter. Wear disposable coveralls and gloves during asbestos abatement. Use a pump sprayer to keep asbestos materials wet and suppress dust at all times. Clean the work area with wet wipes or a vacuum cleaner with a HEPA filter. Dispose of asbestos waste in clearly labeled bags at a landfill that can accept asbestos. In conclusion, we would like to state that asbestos-containing materials and asbestos management is serious business. That's why we at Optimum ADU encourage you to always follow the rules and regulations pertaining to the City of Edmonton Secondary Suite Design Guide. Be prepared to provide confirmation to your trades and the permit office if asked whether asbestos-containing materials with the potential to release fibers have been dealt with per Alberta Occupational Health and Safety regulations. My name is Danny Tamburino, and we thank you for joining us today. We at Optimum ADU look forward to being your optimum choice on your next secondary suite development. See you next time.